Welcome to the woods. It's a lovely day. Makes a change. It's the summertime and it's not raining. We can sit outside. I can drink coffee and have a chat with you. And I covered quite a bit in the last video, and we'll go over some of that again because it's going to tie into what I want to talk about today, which is what's happening in Northern Ireland, where people are taking to the streets and burning down properties and fighting with the police, and what's happening in America, where people are taking to the streets, burning down properties and fighting with the police. Very similar to what happened here not too long ago, where people, guess what, took to the streets, tried to burn down properties and fight with the police. Now you see, the problems in Northern Ireland and the problems in America are linked because they're both about immigration and mass immigration. The riots are over completely different ends of that spectrum, but the cause is still the same. In Ireland, people are rioting because a young girl was assaulted by an immigrant, allegedly, and they've had enough. And the people in America are rioting because the government that was voted in to halt immigration and deport illegal immigrants is trying to do that, and the left wing don't think they should, so they're rioting. And there's 100 different reasons why, but it all boils down to the same thing. This is a problem that was created by the system. Mass immigration wasn't an accident. We've even been told it was a plan. We've even been told it wasn't an accident by our government, by our Prime Minister. So it was a problem designed and implemented by the system itself. It's a problem. It's a problem that is recognised by nearly the whole population. And it's a problem that at the moment they aren't offering any viable solution to. What will happen, and what is being stoked by the system and the mainstream media, and this is what I covered in the last video, what is being stoked now is allowing the general population, not just us that have known this for a while, but the general population, is allowing them to get angry. It's giving them the reason to do something. If it wasn't highlighted to them on the TV and in the newspapers, they probably wouldn't be bothered, but now they are. And that feeling that's running through this country and through most of Europe, that feeling of helplessness, of when does this stop, how can we stop it, gets bigger and bigger until it reaches a point where something happens and the local population rises up, takes to the streets, burns down property and fights with the police. And I think you're going to see more and more of that. I think they're pushing for that. I think that's exactly what they want. They want more and more people to get angry. They want more and more people to be afraid. That's why they're releasing, publicising the white Britons will be a minority in 40 years' time. We know it'll be sooner than that. But the general population now are aware of this. It's being talked about in the mainstream. They'll start to worry. They'll start to see what's going on. bit by bit. And they want this. They want people scared, and they want people angry, and they want to push people onto the streets, attacking the police, burning down buildings, which would look like the only avenue left. When people realise that there's no answer in politics, that no matter who you vote for, you get a politician, and they don't do anything, they don't solve your problems, that they lie constantly, that in an era when your life should be getting easier and better, it's actually getting harder, more lonely for most people. People are going to get angry, and they are going to do what the system expects them to do. And just this weekend we saw the government's rebranding, restructuring of their Prevent scheme, where they reclassified the term terrorist and terrorism. And now terrorist ideology is to be concerned about mass immigration, to be concerned that your culture is being eroded or affected negatively by mass immigration. Now, if you're concerned about those things, you're labelled a terrorist. And that's laughable, because at the same time as they restructure that phraseology, they're actively encouraging people to think along those lines. So on the one hand, they're telling people to be worried, and that look at these awful things that are happening because of immigration. And then when the people are worried and concerned about things that are happening because of mass immigration, they then turn around to say that the way you're thinking is a terrorist ideology. That's interesting. Problem, reaction, solution. Now, the solution hasn't appeared. The solution is still trundling along in the background. They're hoping for more people to take to the streets. They're hoping for more minor upsets, minor riots, protests under this terrorist ideology. The solution will be the digital ID. And I keep banging on about that because it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. It will be the answer on all fronts to every problem that the mainstream public perceive. They'll tell them that the only way to control mass immigration is if people have a digital ID and everyone can be checked. Excuse me. Much the same as the old CCTV argument. You've got nothing to worry about unless you're doing something wrong. That will be spread out to induce people to take a digital ID. Now, as much as the government has said that they are planning on introducing it, in fact they have already introduced a digital ID, it won't be mandatory. And the British government are brilliant at this, far better than most others. And I'll give you the example with cash. In the small town I live near, last year there were, well, a year and a half ago now, there were 5 banks. Used to be 6. There's now none. No banks. And there's no cash point machines because there's no banks. So the supermarkets have to open up a cash point machine. So there's 2 in the whole town. One at one end and one at the other. And every other day one of them breaks down or has no money. So people stop using them. Because what's the point? Every time you trek there, the 45 minutes to get to one, there's no money or it's broken down. And now you've got an hour and a half to walk to the next one. So why would you bother? So when the government came out 5 years ago and said it had no intention of removing cash, it hasn't. It just makes it impossible for you to use it. More and more businesses switch to card payments only because they can't take cash. And if they do take cash, they've then got to bank it. Where are they going to bank it? There's no banks. The nearest bank is 18 miles away. I've got to send a member of staff for the whole day to travel 18 miles, park the car, go to the bank. When she gets to the bank, she can only bank £5,000. You can't bank more than that in cash. And now it's getting to the point where they not only want to know where your money's going if you take it out, but where your money is come from if you pay it in. So where has this £5,000 or £2,000 come from? And you can say, well, it's come from customers. And they say, okay, which customers? And what were they buying? And can you produce invoices? And this is now becoming drama. This is now becoming too much like hard work. So people who do take cash are just giving up. And you yourself would have seen videos floating around social media of people trying to take cash out and they want to know what's the cash for. And it's none of your business. And then they won't give you the cash. So you say, well, it's for a motorbike. I'm going to buy my son a motorbike. And they say, okay, have you got the advert or the brochure? Or what garage are you buying it from? And you haven't. So they won't give you the money. And the mistake a lot of people say, well, it's my money. And it isn't your money. When you put it into the bank, you're handing it over to the bank. It's the bank's money. And they've got a 24-page document that explains that, all in small print, when you open the account. But who reads that? No one. You just sign on the bottom. And what the bank says is when you give your money into them, it's now their money. They can do with it what they want. They do agree to give you the money, but only on certain conditions. And those conditions are whatever conditions they want. And the condition at the moment is, if you want money, I need to know where it's going. Exactly. And all of this is to stop people using it. They're very good at this. So the digital ID will not be mandatory. You'll just find that you can't do anything without it. And the hideous thing is, most of you will have one. Most of you will take one because it's easy. Well, because without it, I can't get paid. I understand that. They tried a similar thing during COVID, if you remember. If you don't take the vax, then you can't work here anymore. And there were people that went and got vaccinated because otherwise they'd lose their job. And all of us that weren't vaccinated completely understood. We understood. But there does come a time where you have to say, no. No. I'm not having a digital ID. And that means you'll lose your job. That means you won't be able to travel abroad. That might mean that you can't get online. Because all of these things will be tacked onto it. You'll need a digital ID to get on an airplane. You'll need a digital ID to get onto the internet. It's not difficult to implement stuff like that. No digital ID, no access. And then they can tack all the other things that we know onto it as well. When they roll out a digital currency, because hey, why not? And they can limit what you spend, they can tell you where to spend it, and we know all of this is coming. But because it's not here right now, then we'll just push that over there. And we'll concentrate on one of the issues. The big issue today, immigration. And I agree, it's a massive issue. And it's something that needs to be not only halted, but reversed. But that's the issue they want you all concentrating on. And they want you concentrating on it. And they want you angry about it. And they want you to do something stupid, which will make it easier for them to get to the end game, which is total control. Total control of every aspect of your life. Well, every aspect of your life within that system. So everything you're used to doing now within that system, you'll only be allowed to do it if you comply with their rules and regulations. And you might say that it's pretty much the same now, isn't it? Times it by 100. Now if you type something on Facebook, you might sit and wait for a day or two and think, okay, well, I got away with that, I didn't get arrested. Hurrah! The clampdown, once the digital ID, digital currency comes in, will be huge. They're all pointing to the same date, which is 2030. Things will get rougher between now and then. Harder. They're poking people where they know it hurts. They're hitting people in their pocket. The cost of living is going through the roof. Every single week things are getting more and more expensive. Wages are not keeping pace. People are finding it difficult. If you couple that with the lowering of services, wheelie bins collected once every 3 weeks, once a month, rubbish overflowing in the streets, businesses closing down. Your high street looks like it's just been bombed. The only thing there is Turkish barbers, nail bars and second-hand shops, punctuated with a few Costa Coffee or Starbucks. Everything's falling apart. It's not going to fall apart, it is falling apart. Deliberately. It's a controlled decline to get you to the point where you have to do something, where you have to be concerned, which is a terrorist ideology. To be concerned for your people and your country. It's a crazy world, isn't it? But it only hurts, it's only dark within that system. Take a second, step aside, and things look completely different. Completely different. First thing yesterday morning, I read a comment from a friend of mine that said, "It's a good morning. I just realised I'm part of a community of doers. And as much as it's great to be part of a community, it's incredible to be part of a community that actually does things and not just talk about them." Now that wasn't the way I felt. This was someone I know who was actually thinking that. How great his morning was, because he knew he was part of a community, and part of a community that was actually doing things, getting something done. You see, there are people out there and there are groups out there that are outside of this system, that run alongside it, that are actually getting things done. Positive things. Businesses started, not closed down. Construction work, land purchases, making people's lives better, not worse. So as much as this system is horrific and getting worse, there's another way. And I've said before, look for those people and those groups that are doing things, that are moving into a positive direction, that are making things better, not worse. Because ultimately the choice is going to be yours. When you make that choice, is up to you. Because you could stick with this system right up until the point where they say, okay, you now need a digital ID. And like I said, most of you will accept that. And I can hear the arguments thought, well, you know, it's just a digital ID. It's not really that much different. It's your prison number. It's your slave number. Deep down, you know that. I know that. If you go back and watch my videos 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I said outright then, there's no way, under any circumstances, will I take a digital ID. I just will not do it. And I realise that's going to make my life hard and uncomfortable and inconvenient. The opposite of everything that's pushed at us. Easy, comfortable, convenient. So be it. I'll take a different path, a path less travelled. But my life will be mine, amongst a community of people that feel the same way. We'll work around the problems, we'll adapt and overcome, and we'll build something better. We've already started. Don't leave it too late. That's always a possibility, that it's too late. Not to join us, not to get involved, but once you're tied in, once you've taken that digital ID, it'll be a lot harder to break out. At the moment, it's relatively easy. I haven't got a crystal ball. I can't say when that ID's coming in, but I know it's an inevitability. There's too much money been ploughed into it, too many people involved in it, and everything they're doing now points towards that being the solution to the problem. Their solution is total control. It's always been the goal. Total control. And you can either live like that or you can't. And if you can't, get active. Don't start putting your time, effort and money into dead ends. Look for the people that are actually creating things, that are making a difference to people's lives. I've banged on about parallel solutions, parallel structures and parallel societies. Do a little bit of research, have a look at how they work and how they can work. We could go through lists from the Amish right the way down to Tinker's Bubble and everything in between. They're not only possible, they're viable. How they take shape is up to us. How big they grow is up to us. And that's the beauty of this. It's all up to us. No one else. It's ours to build as we see fit. So, the choice is yours. Try not to read too much into all of this rioting. It's understandable why people are doing this in Northern Ireland. I completely get it. I dare say they want it to happen over here as well. I've explained why. Try not to get drawn into that. As much as it's understandable, it's what they want you to do. I'm going to leave it there. Have a good day, you lot. I could go on for another 20 minutes, but I'm not going to. I know people's turn off after about 10. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you soon. See ya.